It's time for the Cold Bear Report. I mean the Cold Beer Report, though I would like to drink a cold beer while I watch the Cold Bear Report, and also I'd like to drink a cold beer with Cold Bear. Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. And I'm realizing now we should probably start the show. Good morrow, ladies and gentlemen. Would you like to discuss some cold beer right now? Because if you don't, you're an idiot because you clicked an episode called the Cold Beer Report. First up on this week's Cold Beer Report is a brewery powered by beer. The Alaskan brewing company of Juneau has gone green. But instead of using, solar or wind power, they just bought a super fancy furnace. The $1.8 million furnace converts the waste and spent grains from the brewing process and converts it into steam energy, which they use to power the majority of the facility. The brewery used to send their spent grains to farms in Alaska to be used as feed. But there aren't that many farms in Alaska, I'm told, because it's super duper cold there. Now, not only do they get to save money by not sending spent grains out to farms across the country, they get to make beer from beer. Well, kind of. Now, while this is great for the brewery, I can tell you from personal experience that getting all of your energy from beer is not the greatest idea. That's true of bourbon also. In other beer news, the Department of Justice, or as I call it, the Doge, is suing Anheuser Busch for what I assume is the abomination of that weird Bud Light, Clamato, Chelada cluster bang thing. And I'm being told that is not why they're being sued, sadly. The feds are peed the FO because Anheuser Busch is trying to stage a $20 billion takeover of Grupo Modelo, which makes Corona and also, of course, Modelo. The Doge, or as I call them, the Department of Justice, is against this merger because they think it will increase prices for the consumer and also give them fewer options. Anheuser-Busch is the biggest beer company in the US and Grupo Modelo is third. Together they comprise about 46% of the total beer sales in the country. Anheuser-Busch already has a stake in Grupo Modelo, but the fact is, Modelo and Corona are already pretty stiff competition for them. After all, Bud Light Lime was a pretty obvious attempt to horn in on some of that Corona money. The Justice Department is arguing that Anheuser-Busch is just trying to buy the competition rather than compete. Plus, the Department of J sent out a press release about how Anheuser-Busch and Miller Coors were trying to jack up the prices of all their beer. But they got pretty bent out of shape because Grupo Modelo wouldn't do it, so they couldn't raise their prices if Modelo wasn't, and I guess now they're just trying to buy their way out of it. I'm not sure exactly how this whole thing is going to play out, but one thing I do know is that the Doge seems pretty down to keep my beer prices nice and low. I think that's a call for a nice little justice party. Me, Clarence Thomas, what's-her-name Ginsburg, robes off, beers. Who's in? Only me? Cool. I'm Noah Galutin, so subscribe to Taste It and like the video, or else the next time you go to the liquor store, all you're gonna find are $15 tall boys of Chelada, which is $15 more than I want to pay for something I don't want in the first place.